Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the for changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor. You guys can go ahead and check them out in the description below. Now for today's weather, we've got risks that are finally back. It's October and we're seeing hail and wind chances possible today and tomorrow, so we're going to talk about the where and when of that. And then into next week, we could be starting an active pattern for the southern plains, Oklahoma and Texas. You guys want to stay tuned for our forecasts on this specifically. So if you guys are in the southern plains, we could have some chances for you guys. And then as always, checking in on the tropics and seeing if this one disturbance could possibly do anything along the east coast. So we'll take a look at that. But before our weather, going into our upcoming events, first of which is going to be the OU-TCU tailgate. This is going to be in Norman by the Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins. So if you have not yet gotten out to our tailgate, that's where we're going to be. If you go down to OU and then go by the stadium, Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins, again, is where this is going to be at. You'll see all that row of tailgates and we'll be in those. This is going to be October 16th, so I believe that is next weekend. And while you are at the tailgate, you can get a chance to enter and win 2 free OU Iowa State tickets. So come on out, see us, get some free food, free beer, watch the game, and have a good time with Hail Trace out at our OU-TCU tailgate. Then, next we are going to be in Dallas, Texas at the Only Women in Roofing Retreat. This is going to be called Grace and Grind, and then it's October 18th and 19th. So we're going to be out there seeing all you ladies in roofing and talking a little bit about what it's like to be a woman in the industry. So come on and get out there. And then last but not least, the ORCA golf tournament that is going to be at the Belmar Golf Club in Norman, so still our neck of the woods, on October 25th, so the end of the month here. So guys, if you're into golf or just into roofing, weather, whatever, come on out and see us at the ORCA golf tournament. Now into our current conditions for today, moving into our weather. Most of us are having beautiful weather, especially across the Central Plains right now, but we do have a little bit of precipitation and cloud cover across the West Coast and down into the Florida area. So if you guys are in the Florida Panhandle and anywhere between Georgia and Alabama here in this area, that's where we're going to have a wind risk for you guys as these storms continue to move up northeastward through the coastal area and bring in some gusty winds as well as heavy rain, lightning, and thunder through that area. Then on up into the Pacific Northwest, specifically Utah, Idaho, and Nevada. Again, some cloud cover through the area, but we're going to get some instability going with some daytime heating, and you guys have plenty of mountain instability going on through here. Lots of factors playing into our severe chances for that region for today. So then into our temperatures. it's really beautiful across most of the country, guys. 60s and 70s through most of the US, and then down into Texas, a little warmer in the upper 80s, and then a little cooler along the East Coast, 46 in Portland, 67 in Los Angeles, and that's the west coast of the US. Beautiful temperatures for the most of us through the US. So now for our significant hail model, like I said, there's a lot of factors going into the instability through the Pacific Northwest and the Rocky Mountain region up through Idaho, through Wyoming, and through Utah. So a lot of these factors are going into the instability, playing into our significant hail possibility. So we got those warm, moderate values through this area, through that border region, through these states. And that's going to be by 4:30 p.m. we could start to see that instability playing into some larger hail, possibly in the lower severe limits into this afternoon and evening. Then as those storms roll on, going to eat away at that instability as we're so used to, and we'll start to see things transition into a wind threat for the late evening and overnight. So here's what that looks like on our future radar. So we're starting out kind of some showers and some clouds through the area as we saw just now. And then as those roll up to the northeast, we're going to start to see some isolated storms forming through the eastern part of Idaho, western part of Wyoming. And these could be our hailers initially. Going to start to see more forming through the Pocatello region on 86 here by 6 p.m. And then those are quickly going to cluster up into some bands and messy storms pushing up to the northeast again as a wind threat into this evening and the overnight hours. This is by 1:30 a.m. that we have this here. So that's what this is going to look like, or actually we're going to do Florida first, and then we're going to go into what we're going to look like for our wind and hail threats. But if you guys again are in this area through the Florida Panhandle, Georgia, Alabama, that's when we're going to start to see all of these storms just continue to ride northeast upward through that area, producing some gusty winds, and again, just some heavy showers here and there throughout this afternoon and evening. Here we go by 10 p.m. Things moving up into Georgia, again, producing mostly a gusty wind threat as they go. So as those push off to the northeast, things starting to blow up by the morning hours, but again, should mostly stay below severe limits, gusty winds here and there. So here's what we have for you guys for our hail forecast. We're not looking so much at hail for Florida just because there's not enough instability for that to warm to really form any hail through that area. But if you guys are in this region, we could get some quarters to $half sized hail possible. So if you guys are in Elko, Nevada, all the way up to Pocatello, Idaho, that's where we could start to see those quarters to $half possible. Going to be a very short-lived period that we're going to see that. And then things, again, transitioning into a wind threat. Speaking of wind threat, here's what we got. So again, if you guys are in Elko up to Pocatello, that's where we could get some winds in the 58 to 73 mile an hour range. Same thing down here for our southeastward risk. So just jumping into those. So again, if you guys are in the Tallahassee area, all the way up into the far southwestward part of Georgia, far southeastward part of Alabama, that's where we could get some severe winds with those storms that are passing through the area into this evening. And then moving up into our Idaho and Utah risk, kind of the same area here, all the way from Elko, Pocatello, Salt Lake City. You guys are going to be in that wind risk for tonight as we get some of those storms passing over you guys, all the way far into the far western part of Wyoming for this evening. Then into tomorrow, going to shift into the northern plains. So you guys are in North Dakota, South Dakota, or Minnesota. You guys are no stranger to hail events through this area, and that's what we're going to be seeing into tomorrow afternoon. So starting out, pretty sunny day, beautiful weather, and then things are going to take a turn for the more severe side of weather as we move into the early evening hours. So this is by 8:30, we start to see these isolated storms popping up through the westward part of Minnesota as well as the central part of North Dakota. These could be our hailers, and it's going to be pretty similar to what we're seeing today. Initially, going to see a hail possible, and then quickly going to band up into messier storms, pushing off to the northeast, producing a gusty wind threat into the evening and overnight hours. So here's what we got for our forecast max hail size into tomorrow. For today, probably going to stay in the quarter to $half size range, and then for tomorrow, we could see enough instability to get a ping pong ball or two, but again, it's mostly going to stay in the quarter to $half size range. So here's what we got for you guys for our hail forecast for tomorrow. End of the week hail forecast, quarters to $half possible anywhere through this area. Again, could get a larger stone or two depending on where that larger instability falls. But if you guys are in Grand Forks, Fargo, Aberdeen, or Bismarck, that's where we're going to get our risk into tomorrow. So low end chance across the board, since those hail chances are going to be initially very scattered and short-lived, but any of you guys could get a quarter to $half size stone or two if these storms roll over you into the evening hours. Then we're also going to have a wind forecast for you guys into tomorrow evening. Going to follow similar tracks to our hail forecast, shifting it a little bit to the east because we're waiting for those things to band up. But moving in here, again, Grand Forks, Fargo, and Aberdeen, low end chance for you guys to get some significant wind as well as some marginally severe hail into tomorrow afternoon as well. Then last but not least, we do have a hail threat into the beginning parts of next week for Sunday and for Tuesday. So we want to talk a little bit about the setup here. So this is what we got for Friday. We're going to have this trough that's digging through the area, and that's going to continue pushing its way east. And as it does, we're going to start to see that dip farther and farther south. And so here we are by Sunday afternoon. We got this trough really pushing down into the southern plains, creating all sorts of forcing for these storms to form right ahead of it by Sunday afternoon. So this is what we're going to look like for our risk area as this starts to force those storms in that unstable environment through Sunday. That's going to pass out of the region. Monday we will have a little bit of a break from the severe weather, but then by Tuesday, again this is Tuesday afternoon, we're going to see yet another trough dipping through the area, bringing all that nice cold dry air down from the north, interacting with all that warm moist air out in front of it, forcing all of these thunderstorms to form ahead of that trough. Here we are by Wednesday morning as this pushes through and forces all of those severe storms to form through the area for Tuesday afternoon and evening. So here's what we got for our look ahead forecast for Sunday and Tuesday. No surprise there, we got a risk out for Oklahoma, parts of northern Texas, as well as southern Kansas. We could see severe activity anywhere in this region with that first trough that pushes through that unstable environment Sunday. And then into Tuesday, going to be kind of a similar risk area, shifting things a little bit to the west to account for the timing of that second trough. So if that does continue to kind of take its time behind the first one, we're going to see western Oklahoma, as well as the north central part of Texas and the southern part of Kansas in the risk. So if you guys are anywhere from Wichita to Dallas, Sunday through Tuesday is going to really be your time to shine in terms of severe weather. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that. Hail is possible, wind is possible, tornadoes are possible, along with that low pressure system that's pushing through. So we're going to want to take a look at that active pattern as we get closer and closer to it. But this is what we're going to put out in the meantime while we wait for those systems to move through. So finally moving into an active pattern for our land risks into the beginning of next week, as well as the end of this one. So we'll stay tuned to see what we get in terms of severe hail and wind. But this is what we'll leave you off with as usual for our tropical outlook. We do have one last system that's making its way up the east coast right now through that Gulf Stream. Only a 10% chance in the next 2 days of formation, 20% in the next 5. We've got too much wind shear interacting with this system as it continues to push off of the east coast. However, with this, if you guys are in South Carolina, North Carolina, or even the far eastward part of Georgia, going to see a lot of heavy rain, some gusty winds here and there with that system as it continues to try to develop as it pushes off the east coast. But really, we're not going to see a whole lot of development, just a lot of strong winds, gusty storms, and some heavy rain through the area as that continues to push through the region. So that's what we have for you guys into today and tomorrow, and as well as our next week forecast. Stay tuned to our forecasts tomorrow for sure, and then into the beginning of next week as we follow these systems as they're passing through. So if you guys want to stay tuned to our forecasts, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And then if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com. Direct all of those calls and emails to Frank Gaetano. He really loves to hear from you guys, so make sure you reach out directly to him. And then if you guys want to also check out our awesome website, we're at hailtrace.com online. You can see more about who we are and what we do there. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers. Thanks for watching.